numbers accurate, Gaardsy? Gopher women's basketball team takes a 99-90 lead over the University of Maryland on 2 free throws by your gal, Mara Braun. That's with 54 seconds left. Is that time right? 54 seconds or 50? I've heard different versions of this.
Either way, that's accurate. They led by 9 in the final minute.
And then Maryland gets 2 free throws 10 seconds later to cut it, obviously, to 7. Then we turn it over our next 3 possessions.
Yeah.
And on the first 2, steals lead to 3-point play. So baskets and fouls and free throws made.
Exactly right.
Is that correct?
Yes, back-to-back within seconds of each other.
And to boot, we lose 2 of our most important players fouling out on each of those fouls.
McKinney on the first one, and Grace Grahalski, who had 31 points and 9 threes in the other one.
So mathematically, this seems impossible. Maryland scored 8 points in 9 seconds.
Yeah.
That pulls the Terps to within 99-98 with 35 seconds to go.
Yep.
Then we commit another turnover, battle, I believe, correct?
That was in the front court.
That wasn't as opposed to the back court ones.
They were going to let the Gophers run it down and try to get the stop. They break the press finally. They get it into the front court. Battle throws it to the left corner where she thought her teammate Riley Glenn would be, and Glenn was cutting back door.
So Maryland then gets the ball back. They take a timeout, and they get a go-ahead layup, correct?
Yes.
And then with a second to go, Braun misses a 3-pointer.
Yes.
The only field goal attempt we took in the final minute because of the turnovers, I guess.
That would be it.
It makes sense.
Yep.
And the rest is history. I mean, that's the kind of game that, if you're not careful, can stick with you for a long time. I mean, that's a calendar that is absolutely worthy of the calendar of calamity in a basketball sense. Obviously, if the Wolves do that, and they're playing Phoenix tonight, they blew a big lead against Phoenix, it becomes a big story. How was it in the gym? What was it? How would you describe the mood in the gym?
Shocked, stunned, gobsmacked, silent, dead. It was unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it. The back-to-back 3-point plays.
Yeah, that's...
And people that saw it, it was on Big Ten Network yesterday. People that saw it, it was just panicked turnovers where they literally threw it right to a Maryland player who laid it in, and they fouled him. It was stunned silence because, as you laid out, they were up 9. They had controlled the second overtime. They had controlled the first overtime. They also led by 5 with less than 20 seconds to go in the first overtime, and had a turnover there after Maryland made a really long 3-pointer to give them hope.
7th-ranked Maryland, we should add, for those who don't know.
Exactly. The always good, historic Maryland, and it was stunned. It was just stunned silence after the game.
Maryland was down by as much as 15 in the first half, correct?
Yes. Gophers led by 14 at halftime.
So obviously playing pretty well.
Gophers played great yesterday.
First overtime, we're up 5 with 19 seconds to go.
Mm-hmm.
So how do they get 5 points the rest of that overtime?
Maryland hits a 3 from the Cambria logo.
All right.
Kind of we just got to take a 3 because we got 20 seconds left. They make it.
Make the 3.
Gophers inbound it to the corner. McKinney may have gotten fouled, but then they trapped her. She steps on the right sideline right in front of the Maryland bench, so they get the ball back right there. And then the Gophers, I think, had an opportunity to win it then. It was a crazy game, and it was – calamity is the word for it. It's devastating. It's a devastating loss because it's Maryland.
Exactly.
Because it's everything that they represent, and this was a big – stepping stone for the program.
You're trying to make that next step up.
And they played outstanding. I mean, they controlled the entire first half. Maryland went to a zone in the third quarter that gave them some trouble, let them get back into the game. Maryland led by 5, fourth quarter. Gophers found a way to get it back to tie it in overtime. It was a great game, and they should have won it. They should have won it in the first overtime, and absolutely in the second overtime. So that's, of course, the challenge now is you gotta get them. Yeah, you can't lose now.
Yeah, you can't let it be compounded by the trauma to the point where you're affected. I think you're our next opponent, though. We don't have. It's not a Big Ten team, right?
The next three are non-conference again.
Yeah,
so you've got Indiana at the end of the month.
You have a chance to get well again. Speaking of comments from coaches, and again, you work with her, and I'm not here, to put you on the spot here, but I guess I still look. She has to, Plitzel-White has to think about what we're just talking about, right? The psyche of her players. So the last thing she wants to do is gut them when they're down, right? Even though deep down she might have every right to want to on the basis of the way the thing played out. But and maybe this is the only quote I saw isn't indicative of what she said in the larger sense during the course of the presser. I'm really proud of our young ladies. I thought they competed their hearts out. They played a really high level against one of the best teams in the country. Felt like that was our game. We give Maryland credit. They never gave up. I mean, I guess I need a little something, like, well, that can't happen. Well, is that just not in her? Is that just not the approach she's capable of taking?
I don't think she's going to do that publicly ever. I think she's always...
Privately, she might.
And if you watch her on the sidelines when that stuff is going on, she's can see... She's not liking it. Well, she's looking, what the hell are we doing?
Yeah.
You can see that, but when she speaks about it publicly, no, she's not going to take that approach.
Unfortunately true. All right.
It was crazy, man. I mean, it was crazy.
Well, like I said, I want to go back and... You said it was on yesterday, replayed?
Well, it was on Big Ten Network. I'm sure they'll replay it at some point.
Yeah, I would like to. I mean...
Because they played so well. That's the devastating part. Like, you put yourself in a position multiple times to win the game.
Yeah. And
somehow don't win it.
We've got Ben Lieber later this hour. We've got Cashman in the 5 o'clock hour. We've got many more Vikings talking points to get to. Somebody once said, I think it was Sid, it's a crazy league, the National Football League. Latest example would be, I think the Bears, on the basis of one actually competitive loss against the Green Bay Packers, have gone from the top seed in the NFC to the 7th seed. One loss took them from 1 to number 7. So we may expand the conversation and get into some other stuff within the division. But as I said, some other good Vikings talking points to get to. There's a lot on the platter the rest of the way. We hope you'll hang with us. Back in just a minute here on the...
Looking for a real connection this holiday? It's Just Lunch and KFAN are giving one lucky listener the chance to win a complimentary 3-month It's Just Lunch membership, the personalized matchmaking service that sets you up on fun, meaningful dates with people you'll actually want to meet. Head over to KFAN.com, keyword contest to enter.
Dan, could you see a Bears meltdown and a Lions meltdown, with the Lions winning the last game of the year and the Vikings winning out and making the last game of the year meaningful?
Are you nuts?
It'd be fun. The Bears are capable of anything. I mean, the Bears' schedule is very hard down the stretch. Now, they do host Cleveland this week. That's a game they have to win, or they are going to find themselves in some significant trouble. But we are definitely not mathematically eliminated yet. But I don't think we're that far off either. So are there people holding out some kind of a slim hope that somehow a bunch of other teams could implode and we could matriculate ourselves back into the playoff chase?
I'm sure there's a few of those people out there. It can't be a large number.
Yeah, I understand a little bit of that. You want to hold on to whatever hope you have, but I don't think it's very realistic at this point. But I haven't done all the permutations. What happens is they see, like, here's who's in, here are your division leaders, here are your wildcard teams, and then they have that in the hunt part.
In the hunt is my favorite.
And if they put you in the hunt, I think people get...
You're in the hunt.
Excited, like, well, they put us in the hunt. We must be in the hunt, right? Well, you know what? We're right there. I mean, we're not the top team in the hunt. But we're in the column. Hunt. Yeah, we're in the hunt.
In the hunt.
So... But does in the hunt anymore mean we haven't been mathematically eliminated yet? Maybe. Or does it mean you really are in the hunt?
I think it really means you're technically kind of in the hunt. I guess it depends on the week. But we haven't been in the hunt on that graphic for a while. I don't think we've been in there, have we? I don't think so.
I thought we were somewhere the other day.
Were we in there yesterday?
I don't know.
I didn't even see the graphic
maybe
yesterday.
Maybe after the victory.
Yeah,
they decided to give us a little bit of love and attention.
In the hunt. It is great.
Ben Johnson's pecs, Gaardsy's cricked neck, Vikes just got flexed, Wolves in 5. I don't think we got flex, though.
Does the same guy do that every day?
No.
It's a different
person. That's the amazing thing. Well, he does it a lot.
Yeah.
That's Flim Flam, but there are several other people who do it, too. It's
amazing.
They're totally into it, for sure.
I think the silver lining is that we were not deflexed out of this Sunday night football game with Dallas. But like you said last week, it's true. Dallas. It's always going to be Dallas is always going to be in there. It takes a lot to deflex Dallas.
Let's squeeze in another talking point right now. I want to credit fully and completely our guy, Mark Craig from the Star Tribune, because he's my inspiration here. I call this particular talking point, "Thank you, C.J. Ham."
Now out of the gun, McCarthy under some pressure. He's going to tuck and run and dive ahead close to the sticks. C.J. Ham did everything he could to keep that play alive with a good block, and McCarthy moves the chains with a scramble run.
Really, the most impressive thing about this, watch J.J. McCarthy and just his ball carriage, how he's carrying the ball in the pocket. They run a little bit of a game where Von Miller spikes inside, bring the pressure, and how he holds onto this ball as he has a defender swiping at it. It's really disciplined football. Great pocket presence by J.J. McCarthy there. And then the presence of mind to take off, run, dive forward, get the first down.
That's the voice of Drew Brees, color analyst on the game.
Yeah.
And you heard also from play-by-play guy?
I think it was Adam Amin yesterday.
I think that's right.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question that Ham was massive. Now, JJ handled it very well, as was said during that soundbite. And in real time, live time, I thought he almost fumbled the ball, but he didn't almost fumble it. His arm got hit a little bit, but he had control of the ball, I believe, the entire time. And he made something out of nothing to keep that's the beginning of the 98-yard drive, correct? That went on for 19
the first
plays.
Third down, yeah.
Yeah, that was the first third down. And with that last lunge, he got the first, right? That was it. I mean, he wouldn't get it without that last lunge, I don't believe.
And the last lunge by C.J. Ham kept him afloat, to your point.
Further
which
evidence
Amin talked about.
that stuff, again, the non-sexy stuff is very instrumental often in this case, like I said, it saved not just the play, it saved the drive. Now, you don't know at that point it's going to be a 19-play drive, obviously. But we talked about, this offense just staying on the field, the not having enough plays. And they had plenty of plays yesterday for sure, maybe for the first time this season. I got a text earlier from someone saying, are we going to talk about the Adam Thielen comments? Now, I have to find out if they're the same comments I have read, or if I've missed something. Are you aware of some things Adam Thielen had to say after?
I'm not.
He started for the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers held off the Baltimore Ravens. I think the final score was 27-22. Here's the quote. Let me find I had it and I lost it. Let me find the right spot to get it. Here it is. Well, I think this will be the same, maybe be the same deal. Thielen basically said that here's the quote to Jackals after the game. It's been a wild week. I found my love for the game back. Just being out there playing the game I love. Just thankful to be out there and thrown into a huge game and rivalry. He confirmed last week that he intends to retire following the season. So I guess the texter I assume was taking it like, well, that's a little bit of a jab at how he felt coming back home. I don't know if it was meant that way or not, but I will say a couple things. In the game itself, I think he only had one catch for 4 yards, which is not that different, frankly, than when he was here. However, he was out there more often, and he did start, I think.
He played 25
snaps, yeah.
In the past 5 weeks, he played 24 snaps for the Vikings.
And somebody said there was also a pass intended for him. I think the one he caught was a red zone catch. And then there was another pass, a longer pass intended for him that got tipped. And I think Rodgers has already had some complimentary things to say about him. But it's the most he played since when? The first 3 games of the season.
Right.
So, as I understand it, I don't think the Steelers are viewed as having had the wide receiver depth that we have. I love their number one guy, although he hasn't been used great all season. Yeah. He had a big catch yesterday. I think a big touchdown, a big long one, in fact, or at least one that set up a touchdown. But the truth is, Pittsburgh needs a wide receiver, obviously, more than the Vikings do. The Vikings have more depth at the position. Now, based on the way the offense has been the last several weeks, you'd say, well, how could you tell? But so I'm not going too far down the rabbit hole of, the Vikings have been, as much as I like to do the we didn't need them bit, and I might have done it if I'd seen the quote just for the sake of the bit, I'm not meaning it. My heart isn't in it like, well, we blew it. We blew it on Adam Thielen. It's just the circumstance was he got caught up in the numbers here, whereas we said there were no injuries at that position. And Pittsburgh's a little more desperate, I think, in their mind, they're going, let's take a flyer. Let's take a flyer. And as it was, one catch, 4 yards. My seat's going down again.
That happens.
Happens all the time. So unless there's another quote, I think that's the only thing.
That's the one I think that's getting the run, and I have no problem with it.
No, I have
no problem with it. I'm sure you asked him about it multiple times. Not every week, as you said, but you asked him about it. We were all watching his snaps go down. And if it is, in fact, his last year, which they said at the time, and I think even his wife on an Instagram video said, I don't blame him.
Right.
I don't blame him for wanting to go somewhere else and play more. And I'm sure it was frustrating to not be out there when your clock is ticking, even if you aren't the Adam Thielen of 10 years ago.
Well, and he dropped some balls.
That's true, too.
That's on him, too, a little bit. He has not been as sure-handed as his reputation as he has tended to be. But in any case, I think if they're Vikings fans bitter about what he is saying, I think that's a little much.
Touch some grass.
Yeah, it's just not. He's an emotional guy. There's no question about that. He's always been an emotional player, and for him, it's just I'm out there more. So it's easier to love the game again if I'm out there more. I don't think that necessarily has to mean he's indicting the Vikings. The Vikings didn't have that much room for him, as I think maybe he didn't. He's competitive enough to think he should have been out there more, I'm sure, but I don't buy it on that level. I don't think, and I certainly don't buy it on the level of, well, we really blew it. He could have been a great asset to what we're trying to do. I think we've seen in the development of Naylor, leaving Addison aside for the moment, that this team does have some wide receiver depth.
I think Naylor's had a great year.
He has. There's no question, and that's really also probably what hurt Thielen.
Big time.
Is he kept at some point you got to play no matter what your intent was as an insurance policy, because that's really what Thielen was, and I'm sure they wanted to be a feel-good story. You got to end up playing the players that you want to play. Now, you also have to have a quarterback who can throw decently, which J.J. McCarthy most assuredly did yesterday.
Aquarius Home Services has your shot at 4 tickets to see Green Bay take on the Purple in early January, plus $500 in game day cash. Register for your chance to win today on the KFAN contest page, kfan.com/furnace to enter.
Where is Jets? Don't place wild bets. Joe Ryan to the Mets, Wolves in 5. Different person.
I thought we were keeping Joe Ryan.
Well, for the purposes of the bid, I guess he had to go for whatever he could. Something should also be said about Thielen talking about a meaningful game. There haven't been a lot of those for the Vikings in a while. Wow. Well, yeah, I guess there's some truth to that, too. Steelers are weird because I don't think they're a great team, but they're in pretty good position right now.
The conversation last week was, is it over for Mike Tomlin? Does there need to be a clean break? Does there need to be a reshuffling? He's been there, 19 years now? That was the conversation.
Gotta be in that range, yeah. You're right.
That was the conversation last week about him because they were coming off another loss.
Very, very true, Davey. Have you heard about the controversy at the end of the Raiders-Broncos game?
Yes, like the field goal into a touchdown, Skyview. Tell me about it. I've heard a little bit about it.
Basically, here, let me read it from just to set it up a little bit. We don't need to spend a lot of time on it. Fourth quarter, Broncos had the ball on a 4th and 4 at the 28-yard line, but opted not to go for the field goal that would have extended their lead to 27-14, make it a 13-point game. Instead, they run the ball for no gain, So the Raiders take over on downs with under 30 seconds to go on the clock. They spike the ball, or after spiking the ball and leaving 16 seconds left, Kenny Pickett found wide receiver Tyler Lockett for a massive gain that would have ordinarily seen the clock run down. But a delay of game penalty was called, which allowed Vegas to set up and convert a field goal in the dying seconds. Now, so basically, is if I understand this correctly, because I did not watch any of this game, on the last play of the game, literally, they try a field goal. Pete Carroll asks for a field goal that obviously is not going to change the outcome, but does change those who've bet on this game.
Yeah.
I'm not a big believer in betting conspiracies. I have very little sympathy for folks in that regard. But I have to tell you, what's the point? If you could tell me, well, there's going to be 2 seconds left after the field goal, and then we're going to try an onside kick, and you need 2 scores, okay. But if this is literally the last play of the game, which I think it was, then what's the point, in all seriousness, of trying a field goal there? What in the football, philosophy and pecking order of what you're supposed to do in a situation? We never give up. What difference does it make whether you hit? What do you accomplish by that field goal? I would much rather you try a Hail Mary or something else. It's less likely to result in points, I guess, but I'm trying to figure out I wonder what Pete Carroll said about kicking the field goal. But the bettors, including who's the big shot betting guy, he's got his own net. He's on a couple of the sports channels whose name I can't even remember. He's got a huge visibility. He lost his mind, basically said Pete Carroll should be murdered, which I think he meant that sarcastically. It's still not the...
Was that Barstool guy? Was that Portnoy?
Guy is exactly what
yeah, I did see that.
So does that make... I mean, it really doesn't make a lot of sense to me to kick a field goal there at all, regardless of whether you think that's part of the conspiracy.
The only thing I can say is by kicking that field goal, the Raiders then scored the most points they had scored since they scored 29 points in a loss to the Jaguars like 6 games ago. Because they scored 7, 16, 10, 14, and then yesterday. I'm not defending it. I'm just saying
that would be the only,
That would be my assumption. It's, hey, we want to, keep trying to score last, get that in there. Or
so weird to me.
He's the head coach in Vegas, and maybe some people have visited him recently.
Well, yeah, that's
where the conspiracy.
That's where the conspiracy comes in. There's no question about that. I don't know. I do wonder sometimes what these coaches think they're accomplishing. It's if you're literally playing to the last down, then play to the last down. You don't kick a field goal. It just seems kind of silly to me. And you're kind of asking for conspiracy talk on the basis of the way this thing played out. That's for sure. One other. I'll save it. I'll save it because we're guest free. We got Cashman at 5:15.
Yeah.
So we have plenty of time between 5:30 and 6:30 to get. I want to get into the bowl not bowl controversy, the playoff controversy. Who's in and who's not in? Because my very casual college football eye thinks there's too much attention on one team and not enough attention on another team. But we'll maybe discuss that later. And by the way, the Gophers are now confirmed. You're on your way. You will be on your way to Arizona for a December 26th date with Destiny. Is that correct?
Against New Mexico.
A hot team, they tell me.
They're
I think
pretty
they won
good.
Like 5 or 6 in a row.
Yeah, they had a good season.
And that's because Iowa State said, we ain't going.
And Kansas State.
Two teams
Two
did.
different teams from the Big 12 that lost their coach and had coaching changes.
Right.
So, yeah, we're going there. It's the Patino Bowl. Minnesota versus New Mexico.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get him to come to maybe do the coin toss. He's got time. They don't play UConn until the 31st, so he's got a little pocket of time. He can come out to the desert.
Very busy man.
They had a big win Friday. They beat crosstown rival Cincinnati.
Did they? That's a big one.
Yes, at home.
2 teams that don't like one another.
He said it's the craziest rivalry he's ever been a part of. A very Adam Thielen-like jab at Gophers Badgers.
Let's do this. Let's get a pause in and prepare to chat with Nacho Lieber. Ben Lieber, who apparently predicted, sort of predicted the outcome of Vikings versus the Washington Commanders. And so he will not get ripped by whoever runs social media for the Vikings X channel. That's for sure.